When I was growing up, there was the popular advice that anytime you feel like that you're going into anger and you're going to go into reactivity or feel like you're going to lose control, to stop and count to 10. Do you remember that? Well, I don't know about you, but for me, that has never worked. It's never worked for me. However, I have discovered another way. You can actually, get this, count to 6 and calm your emotions. Now, that may sound ridiculous, right? Okay, if I count to 10 and I can't calm my emotions, get out of my reactivity, but I can count to 6 and shift from reactivity to calm, like, how does that work? Well, lean into this and let me share with you. Next time you're feeling like you're going to go into reactivity, whether that's anger, frustration, irritation, stop and count to 6 backwards in a language that you do not normally speak. In other words, your native language. So let's say you grew up as an English speaker and you learn German. Try counting backwards in German from 6 to 0. Another option would be to count objects. Count objects and then name them out loud. This is actually my favorite one, and it works even better if you're outside. So 1, tree, 2, flower, 3, car, and so on. Another way that you can employ this is to breathe through the nose and exhale through the mouth, counting each cycle of breath. That was 1 cycle of breath. Inhale, exhale, 1, and do that 6 times. So next time you feeling like you're going to go into reactivity, lose control, and, have an anger outburst or whatever, try counting to 6 in one of those 3 ways, or make up your own. So why does this process work? Well, first, let me explain to you that you have 2 parts of the brain. You have the logic brain or the rational brain, and then you have the emotional brain. The logic brain is your prefrontal cortex, and your emotion brain is the amygdala. And so when we go into reactivity, the prefrontal cortex, the logic brain, shuts down, and the emotional brain takes over and dominates. And so when we are reacting in anger, irritation, frustration, we're no longer activated in our logic brain, we're in our emotional brain. And it can be hard for us to get control because we're not thinking. But what we can do is to learn to stop and pause. And as we're doing those 6-second exercises, we are incorporating the logic brain and gradually giving the logic brain more control and bringing it back online. So a little bit of neuroscience there on how to get control of yourself. It's self-command when you go into reactivity. And this does take practice. I highly recommend doing mindfulness practices throughout your day to kind of build a muscle to be able to shift from reactivity into the logic brain with more ease. But yeah, give this a try. And if this works for you, you come up with your own process or one of the 3 that I've shared with you today, and it actually works, I love to hear your experience and your success story. So you can just message me and share what your experience was. Thanks so much, and I look forward to connecting you again in the next video.